So I'm out here in my other office. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that, hey, I love coming out and walking around. It's a great time to think and sort of observe what's going on in the world and just get away from people for a moment. I still take my office with me. I've got my phone, selfie stick now. My daughter stole the other one. But especially at the moment, because in New South Wales we've just had some massive storms, so it's great to be able to get out and actually enjoy the sunshine and the sea air and everything again. But it's a reminder of the impact that storms and unexpected events can have. And when I look at all the reports of what's happened up in the mid-north coast of New South Wales and all these properties and businesses that have been inundated by flooding, it sort of makes me realise that there are some things in our businesses that we don't plan for, but we really need to do better at. And it can be have a massive consequence on our livelihoods in the future. Especially when we consider, and I look at some of these businesses where they've got their business sign prominently out of the front of their property, for where their business is located, and the water is lapping at the bottom of the sign. Now, the sign's 10 feet off the ground, or a bit over 2 metres, right? That's a lot of water. So their entire business has been flooded and inundated with stormwater. And now they're faced with the prospect of rebuilding that business. Sure, there's insurance and other stuff that you can do, but you still have to go through the process of actually rebuilding. And for many, the effort might be just too hard, or their insurance doesn't cover enough, and so that's it, game over. That's awful. Yet, and you sort of might think, well, that's unfortunate for building your business in brick and mortar in a floodplain. But think about other businesses that are service orientated, and they might have multiple locations, etc., but they put everything onto a server somewhere. One server, or a series of different servers doing multiple different tasks, but they only have one task each. Now, if you lose one of those, you have to rebuild it. And for small businesses, this seems to be a very common occurrence. There's so many small businesses that I talk to out there that do just this. They might have a small NAS, they might have a USB drive that they keep everything on, or it's on their laptop. They might have Dropbox and other cloud services for some things, but ultimately for the shared stuff, it's all on a server somewhere, or a device that can be easily lost or destroyed. And for some of these businesses, so they've got these servers that are in place, and the first thing I ask is, so what's your recovery plan? And what do you mean? I said, I've just got backups and all that sort of stuff. And I go, yes. And so they're off-site. Sometimes they say yes, other times there's a nervous laughter saying, yeah, it's supposed to be, but it's not. Or no. How do you do that? Or yeah, I keep a USB key in my that I back up every so often when I come into the office. Yeah, please don't do that. It's okay, but it's not reliable. It's easily to be lost. So, and then the next thing is what happens if you lost the server? What happens if that system went down, failed? Oh, that's okay. We've been promised 24 to 48 hour recovery time. I go, cool. How much business do you lose in that amount of time? And what happens if it doesn't work, or you can't get access to servers? And I go, oh. I said, well, okay, before we go down that slippery slope, have you tried it? Have you tested the plan? Can you actually recover from those backups? And what's the delay? Are there any issues with supply chain or anything like that? Could they actually deliver on the promise of 24 to 48 hours? No, we'd have to pay for that. Right, so it's not a plan, it's a hope, it's a wish. And quite frankly, I've been down this path of having to rebuild entire infrastructures because we lost critical systems and we lost the entire data center. It's not a lot of fun, let me tell you. As a service technician at the time and system administrator, the process of going through restoring that, and there's always issues and faults and bugs and things we didn't think of, or things that don't work, or a backup tape that's corrupted, or all manner of things, or even a supplier that can't deliver because they're completely out of stock. You have to go get something else. Look, it just gives me chills just thinking about it. And then you've got the constant nagging of the and checking in by the business to say, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? You just don't need that shit. So 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have a choice. And the only way we could actually go and improve on that was to build in redundancy. Get another data center, connect them all up, duplicate all your software and your systems, and make sure you get all the... Let me tell you, it's very, very expensive. And most organizations, especially small businesses, just don't have the money. So don't. Right? And quite frankly, why do it today? The reason I say that is that we've got all these cloud services that you can pay X amount of dollars a day or a month per user, and you get access to all of that. And the infrastructure is hosted on this highly resilient platform, and if the application's been architected properly, it can deal with an outage of a data center such that maybe one here in Sydney goes down, but the Melbourne data center comes online, or in Hong Kong, or someone else is paying for that. Someone else is getting woken up when that stuff fails, and people bitch and moan and say, oh, AWS failed, or Azure or Microsoft failed, and so I was offline for an hour, or I couldn't access my stuff for a day. That's the worst case scenario. But the point is that someone else is recovering that infrastructure. Someone else is getting woken up at 2 in the morning. You can continue on doing your day-to-day business. Now, there are ways around and protecting yourself against that stuff as well. So that if you do happen to lose your core infrastructure that you're paying for as a service, then it's okay. You can still function mostly enough to be able to do your business. And businesses understand that stuff happens. But if you lost your server, that's 48 hours where you can't do anything. And you have to stress about getting it all back. So the point here is that for small businesses, you quite often fall into this trap that I call the engineer's adage. If it ain't broke, don't fix. Right? You fall into this trap of thinking that the systems that I've got are working, they're doing what they need to do, why should I change? In other words, it ain't broke, so why should I fix it? The point is that things in technology, and I see this all the time, chances are already broken, or there's potential issues that you're not aware of yet, that are going to come back and bite you. They're going to cause problems. So why take the risk? Why delay doing that digital transformation on your organization, uplifting all your services, getting rid of all of that infrastructure that you don't need? You need the services, but you don't need the infrastructure. Make that transformation, make the changes, do the hard yards today, so that tomorrow, when something happens, it's not your problem to fix. Yes, it does impact you, but someone else will bring that service back online so that your business can continue. So that the flood that comes through is an inconvenience, not a game over event.